Welcome back to Unscripted, everyone. Carwash.com's video interview series that connects you with market leaders. Joining me today on Unscripted, I'm happy to welcome back Mark Curtis, CEO of Splash Car Wash. Mark, great to see you again.
Great to see you, Rich.
All right, great. Wanted to catch up with you, Mark. Last couple of months here, we've seen Splash Car Wash make the headlines on Carwash.com. So wanted to bring you on to discuss some of these recent acquisitions, and then if you would divulge maybe some plans for the future for the chain. How's that sound?
That sounds fine. I probably can tell you, but then I'd have to kill you, Rich.
We don't need that. Let's start off with the first question and take it from there. Maybe I could avoid your wrath here. So over the past 7 months or so, Mark, we've seen the chain announce several acquisitions, mainly concentrated in the upstate western part of New York and Rochester and Buffalo, and then down in the Long Island area of New York. So why has New York been such a main focus for the chain recently? What other opportunities do you see in the state, or even in the tri-state area of New York, New Jersey, Connecticut in general?
Yeah, it's a great question, Rich. I think it was somewhat opportunistic, but also because it was more local to us, that New York has always been of interest. We had a few washes operating there in White Plains and Bedford Hills and Brewster, New York. And then one of our first acquisitions was an express tunnel up in Middletown, New York, that the Sheelys developed. And express tunnel really opened our eyes to the possibilities of express washing in the Northeast, where it really isn't the dominant car wash style of washing cars. So most of the washes are either exterior washes or full service. It's traditional full serve. So this was kind of really an eye opener for us, and so we started to focus more on the express opportunities. Classy Chassis came along, and they were predominantly an express platform. They had a number of in-bays. We did buy some of the in-bays along with that package, and closed 4 Buckman's washes and 1 Malco's wash in the Rochester area right about the same time.
And then a Personal Touch car wash down in Long Island, is it? Or do I have that correct?
Right.
Okay.
And they run 1 express wash and 2 flex serves, one of which I think will almost immediately convert to express, and the other one we're still debating on what the ultimate format will be.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So what can you tell us about these locations here moving forward? What can the customers expect from a Splash Car Wash managed location, if you will?
Well, we in many of the cases, we've upgraded the equipment, we've upgraded the external and internal aesthetics, and hopefully improve the operational efficiencies of the site. So their time waiting will be less, the throughput will be greater, the quality of the cleaning will be better, and hopefully the overall customer experience will be far superior than it was. And that's not to take anything away from the guys that ran those chains before. They did a really, really great job, which is what really interested us in them. But I think there's some things that we can bring to the table that might enhance the customer experience. Plus, we think that once we brand them all Splash, the ability of a customer, an unlimited or the customer or subscriber, to go to any Splash in Connecticut, New York, Vermont, soon Massachusetts, and hopefully soon in New Jersey, will be an enhancement for the customer.
Okay. All right. Now you mentioned a little bit in your first response, Mark, just some of the characteristics of the car washes in the Northeast. that happens to be my next question here. So in the writing business, that's called foreshadowing, Mark, what you did in your first response. So in your experience, we see these express exterior washes, which seems to be the model of choice for investors that are looking to scale car wash chains, right? So in your experience, how is scaling a chain in the Northeast different than scaling in the Southeast and Southwest? Is the prevalence of full serve washes that are available in the Northeast region, or maybe the limited real estate in the region, affecting your growth plans at all in any way?
Well, I think there's a few factors that come into play when you're looking at expansion in the Northeast. One, I think because of the dominance of full serve, the customer has come to expect that service, and they're not familiar with the do-it-yourself of free self-service vacuums as part of the express process. So I think, and not every market I think is conducive to just express only or do-it-yourself. I think there are some very affluent markets in the Northeast where people have the money and the desire for you to do it for them. So in those circumstances, I'm not sure Express would play as well and hit the numbers necessary to justify the investment. But I also think that, the Northeast is the earliest developed area in the United States and the most developed, as you well know, being on Long Island. Finding real estate that's large enough to support a large express facility that can produce the number of cars necessary to justify the investment is hard to find, or very expensive. And the third thing that's an obstacle is getting it zoned. It varies municipality to municipality, but we spent 2 years, 3 years, 4 years getting sites zoned. This isn't, by right in most towns, most cities. So you're going through a process that could be very, very lengthy. And so I think that's been the barrier to entry. We've worked hard and we've brought on partners to help us take us through that process in their areas. For instance, the guys that came on that were the founders of Classy Chassis have been developing for us up in the Rochester, Buffalo areas. And they know the market well, they know the players well, they know the properties well. So it gives us an edge. Aaron Vincelette up in Plattsburgh, New York, and in Vermont is developing washes for us there. So those partnerships that we've developed through the acquisitions we've made has really helped us.
No shortage of snow salt up there and grind to remove off cars, right, Mark? So in addition to making the headlines on carwash.com for these key acquisitions, Splash Car Wash was also recognized as a top workplace by Energage. What makes Splash such a great place to work, and what advice can you give other operators to increase morale and workplace happiness at their sites?
It's a great question, and I think we learned pretty early on that we really needed to change the paradigm of our industry, which has typically treated our employees as temporary, easily replaceable items, assets. And we really took a different approach very early on, which is to say these are our most valuable assets. If I'm not out at the site, greeting the people at the front door, Splash is known by the guy that is. And so I can't be in 50 places at once. So we need to, hire the right people with the right attitude, and then train them so they're successful, and then treat them, train them so that they can go anywhere, and treat them so they don't.
Sounds good. All right, final question for you, Mark. What's next for you in Splash Car Wash? Perhaps a summer vacation in Rhode Island, or maybe Long Island? What's going on for these next couple of months here?
Well, if I go to either of those two places, I don't know if it'll be vacation. I'll be looking for car washes. So I'll have to really make a broad jump, but I think we'll continue to expand. We have a number of sites that have gone through zoning and gotten approval. So We'll be starting construction in the next month or two on 7 locations. We've got a new one opening up in East Haven, Connecticut, hopefully a little bit later this month. And we have some acquisitions that are near term that will allow us to continue to expand our footprint in the area. And we're now branching into some new areas. So that's really exciting for us.
All right, well, at carwash.com, we'll be sure to keep our eye out for new announcements. Congratulations on all the success and growth so far, Mark, and on the accolades for Energage. Really nice accomplishment there. So thanks for doing the video interview with me today.
Thank you so much, Rich. Really appreciate it.